Before I start this video, I just want to give a big happy birthday shout out to America. So happy birthday, America, and I hope everybody's having a safe and happy 4th of July holiday. All right. I want to welcome everybody back to Bad Luck Garage. I know we ended the last video on kind of a sad note, blew up the turbo truck, but fact of the matter is, I've got parts that have come in for the truck, and we need to get them installed. Now, I am perfectly aware of the irony in installing seat belts in a truck that no longer runs because we blew the freaking engine up. But I had already ordered the parts. They got here 2 days ago. Ironically, like the day after I blew the truck up, the seat belts got here. And, you know, I thought it'd be a good instructional video, even though it's not really an instructional video. But anyway, somebody might want to install these things. They're cheap. If your truck was like mine and it did not come with 3-point seat belts from the factory, then, you know, it's something you might want to look into. Those of you who follow us on Facebook, you have already seen a picture of these. These are the seat belts that I ordered. They are 3-point retractable seat belts. I got these on eBay for, I think they were $25 shipped. So I will put a link to these in the description to this video, just in case, you know, you guys are looking for some cheap shoulder harness style seat belts. So sad. Guys, I'm not going to get too emotional because the fact of the matter is I've had this truck for a really long time, like way before this channel ever started. And, you know, sometimes you got to change it up. Not going to make this a depressing video, going to make this a happy video. So let's get these seat belts put in. So for those of you who didn't catch the seat belt video, or for those of you who may have found this video through a search looking for a, you know, installation instructions, something like that, this is our turbo C10. What has happened is when I first got this truck, it only came with lap belts, but when I got it, it didn't have any belts in it at all. Well, at the time I couldn't find any retractable seat belts for a good deal, and I found these racing harnesses for about 30 bucks. So what I've done is I put in these racing harnesses. The top part is not properly secured, the shoulder straps, but the lap belt portion is attached to the factory lap belt attachment points. Well, in some of the videos that I've done with, well, in particular, the video I did with my 16-year-old daughter, there were a lot of people giving me a lot of flack about her not having a seatbelt on. I went over this already in another video, but she was wearing a seatbelt. She was just wearing the lap belt. But what I did to make everyone happy, and because, you know, honestly, I think that the people who were complaining about it were right to complain about it, is I went ahead and got online and found some 3-point retractable seat belts. Unfortunately, about 4 days ago, we blew the truck up. Now I'm selling off the turbo kit. Yes, it's official. I am going to sell it all as a kit. And, you know, basically what's going on here, guys, is I've got a lot of parts that I'd ordered for this truck. I am probably going to sell this truck as an LS ready roller, you know, because it's already set up for an LS engine. So I've got all these parts. I don't really want to just sell all the stuff that I bought. So I thought I would do a couple videos and install all the parts that I currently have, like the seat belts, the new grill, etc., before I list the truck for sale. That way, whoever does end up with the truck, you know that it'll already have seat belts in it, it'll already have the new grill in it, yada yada, and you know, it'll just give somebody else a good platform to start with. Something to note about these earlier C10s is, even though, you know, even the ones that only came with lap belts still have the mount up here for you know, the retractable 3-point. You can see mine has actually, like, it's still got the paint in it. It has never had a screw put in it, but the mount is there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mount the upper swivel point right here. Now, the seat belts that I ordered for $24, and that was for the pair, guys. It came with both seat belts. they came with hopefully everything we're gonna need. I mean, it's already got the bolt in the swivel point here. We just got to pop the little plastic open. But it, you know, it did come with more mounting hardware and, you know, our buckles, etc. So this top portion is pretty much self-explanatory. We popped our little plastic cover off, and that gives us access to this bolt. Now you'll notice the bolt has a little collar area on it here, and the reason that's there is so that once you get it mounted, this can still swivel. So I'm just going to, yeah, see. A not so surprising turn of events, it turns out that the bolts that came with the kit are actually a little too small, but I did happen to have some bolts in the garage there that do the job, so onward. We've got our swivel points mounted on both sides here. So now we need to get the racing harnesses out so we can attach everything to the factory mounting points. Okay, now I don't have the racing harnesses completely out of the truck, but I do have them taken loose and out of the way from all the factory mounting points. The shoulder straps are actually mounted with a small nut and bolt. Remember I said they weren't mounted properly, but they're mounted with a small nut and bolt that goes down through the floorboard in the back here. That was actually a hole that I drilled, and it's going to require a helper because somebody's going to have to be up here holding while I'm underneath the truck taking the nut off. So we're just going to toss those out of the way. They're not bothering us. Moving on to the next step. This is our buckle. Okay, now it's important to note that the buckle on the driver's side shares a hole with the buckle for the middle seat, which is this lap belt right here. The buckle on the passenger side is going to share a hole with the actual lap belt right here. So what we're going to end up doing is, you know, we're going to put these together like this. We're going to run a bolt through them, bolt them to the factory mounting locations behind the seat. The issue is, keep in mind guys, these are $20 seat belts. The issue is the holes in these, as well as the holes in the retractors here, are too small for the factory bolts. So what I'm going to have to do is get a step bit and just ever so slightly enlarge all these holes so the factory mounting hardware can be used. So I'm going to do that right now. Thinking back, I remember having to go through this same procedure when I installed the racing harnesses originally, with the holes not being large enough. Now this piece might be a little bit of a pain in the rear for our step bit here, but the flat metal ones, I mean, it just punches right through, no problem. The easiest way to do this would be to put it in a vise, but because I've already installed the upper part of the seat belts, that's not an option. So we're just going to try to hold it with some vise grips here. And since this is so thick, I'll just keep going from both sides. And we'll test fit our bolt. Goes right in. As you can see, that's no big deal, guys. That took me, what, 10 seconds? At this point, I'm going to go hit all our other brackets and we'll start bolting everything up. I was hoping this would be a bolt-in affair. Unfortunately, it is not. The problem that I have is this bolt goes straight down, but let me pull the carpet back. But as you can see, you know, it's right on an angle here, and you can't bolt this down. You know, basically what needs to happen is this needs to be mounted like this, or I mean, you could possibly mount it like this, but which would probably look better, but honestly, mounting it like this is the way it's going to function the best, because that allows it to be straight up and down. Now I'm thinking I could probably get away with mounting it this way just for aesthetic reasons. Let me try that real quick. So anyway, what I've noticed is, if you look at the kits that you buy that are specifically for this truck from LMC or Brothers, they actually come with a little L-shaped bracket to take care of this issue. So I decided to make some. I had some of this angle laying around, So I just cut 2 pieces of the angle off, drilled holes in it, and shot it with some paint. So these are my brackets here that I made. You'll notice too, in the beginning of the video, I actually said happy 4th of July. It is now the 5th of July. So what happened here is, after I made these brackets and painted them, I wanted to give them plenty of time to dry, but being the 4th of July, I had some festivities to attend to, so I wasn't able to finish the job. Like I said, I was hoping this would be a bolt-in affair, but you are going to need some L-shaped brackets, guys, if you want these seat belts to work right. So anyway, here's our brackets. Let's finish bolting this stuff in. So after looking at these one more time, I've decided I'd like to try to mount them like so, if possible, instead of like this, or doing it like this, because when I pull it around like this, it really twists the seat belt up on this side. So if I can get away with this, I think it'll be okay. If I pull the carpet back here and I set my bracket down, you can see that's going to you know, the bracket's going to bolt down like that, and then that's going to allow me to bolt the retractor mechanism like this. I think that's the way to go right there. That's the best way. Now, this part, the other end of the seat belt, actually needs to bolt down on top of the bracket. Sorry guys, it's kind of hard for me to hold the camera and do this at the same time. So what's going to happen is the bracket is going to be right here, and then the other end of the seat belt is actually, you got to make sure to get it angled right. It's actually going to be bolted right on top of it like this. This is the orientation that I decided to bolt it down in. I don't have it tightened down all the way, and I'm about to show you why. If I run the bolt through this way, then what's going to happen is, as I'm tightening it down, you know, it's going to run right into the back here, and it's going to be pushing on this. I don't like that. So what I've decided to do is take this loose again and actually bring the bolt in from the back side, so it acts more like a stud. And then I can just take my retractor here. After all this is tight, I can take my retractor and just slip it over the bolt, put my nut and my washer on it, and it'll be just like that. Okay, so there we go. That's good and tight. Now I can just take my retractor, put it down in here, the bolt goes through it, and then I can take my lock washer and my nut and tighten all that up. All right guys, there you go. There's the seat belts. So the wifey demonstrate. You got it in the right buckle? Nope. There it is. Only issue is, if you are a big guy, don't think this is gonna get it. They fit my wife. I can just barely get it on. Now, I weigh 280, guys, so I can barely get it on, but it's snug. So one way that could be remedied is making a longer bracket here to actually relocate the retractor part, you know, up a little higher. If you do get in a wreck, the force is going to be going upward, and on this, you know, it's not going to be going forward. So making a longer bracket to put the retractor up higher, or possibly instead of mounting these together like this, you can maybe mount the retractor back up in here somewhere to give it those extra few inches if you're a bigger guy. But anyway, yeah, the turbo truck has seat belts now. Guys, it is muggy out here. The heat index is like 105 with the high humidity. So yeah, I look like a disaster. But anyway, total cost for these seat belts, like I said, I'll post a link in the description below. The seat belts, I think, were $25 shipped for both seat belts, and I think I got about $6 worth of hardware from Lowe's. So total cost about $31. If you don't have any angle lying around, you know, you might have to pay like a couple dollars for a short piece of angle to make your brackets out of. Or if you want to make longer brackets like I was talking about, you could get some you know, some flat stock and just bend it to make a longer bracket. Just guys, remember, these are seat belts, they're safety items, so if you make a longer bracket, make sure you make it out of something thick, like 1/4 inch thick flat stock, you know, something that's not going to just tear away if you do get in an accident. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. I am going to go over you know, some stuff with some upcoming projects in another video soon. I'm not doing that in this video, but for those of you who are afraid that, you know, the world's gonna end because I'm getting rid of the truck, it's not. I've got plenty of stuff coming, so stay tuned. If you're a subscriber, thanks for subscribing, guys. If you're not, think about clicking that subscribe button if you want to see what's coming next, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.